In a world that's searching for truth and light, we gather stories to share inside. Authors with wisdom, their voices ring. In the exchange show, we bring hope and guidance. Welcome to the exchange, where stories unfold. Faith and inspiration are treasures to behold. The words and wisdom, our spirits grow. Join us on this journey on the exchange show.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Exchange Show. Okay, so let's just get this out right off the bat. You can see that I am not the host. Elder Berthanna Oxendine is the host of this show. I am the executive producer. I am Juanita Corey Jackson, and I am standing in for her today. It does not happen often, so she will be back with you next week, but I am standing in today. So welcome to the Exchange Show. It is our absolute pleasure to have you here with us today. I am Juanita Corey Jackson. So again, I am the executive producer of the show. I started this show some years ago from the book that you can see in the background if you're watching us visually, called The Exchange. There were 8 authors that told their riveting stories of how God brought them to a place of exchange, right? And so from our will to God's power. And this show was birthed out of that book. And so we invite authors to come on, tell their story. We are definitely promoting self-help, Christian faith-based kind of books. And so if you are an author and want to come on the show, then you can send the host. You can find her on Facebook. You can send her. All of that information as well will be in the description of the video. So you can send her a message and she'll give you all the information of how you can become a guest on the show with her. Today is a little bit different. We don't have a guest, but I'm going to be telling you about one of my favorite books today. So I'd like for you to stay tuned. Listen, if you want to become a part of our community, it is each one, she says every week, each one reach one, right? And so you can do that by joining the Kin community and be in the group and meet like-minded authors, publishers, and all of those great things. And of course, become a guest on the show. So today, again, what am I? I told you I'm the executive producer, but I also oversee our ministry. I Believe God Ministries International. I'm a coach. I'm a best-selling author and all of those things. I'm a real estate broker. But today I want to tell you about one of my favorite books, and that is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You can find this book on Amazon. Not only am I a coach, but I also get coached, right? I think every good coach should have a coach. And so every coach that I've ever had worth the money that I paid them, and I've paid coaches thousands of dollars, has this book in their repertoire to tell their students, Think and Grow Rich. And you can find this book, again, you can find it on Amazon. So one of the things the book tells you right off is about the power that you really have inside of you, right? To be able to do everything. I say all the time that we were all sent to the world with gifts, talents, and each of us come trying to find our way of how we get to do all that God has called us to do, I'd like to say. And we spend most of our lives trying to figure that out. But this book, and I've read it several times, and it took me probably the third time through at least to get the message. But boy, when I got it, I got it. All right. So one of the favorite quotes that this book says in there, it says, truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that when they are mixed with definiteness or being definite in your thought, your purpose, your persistence, and a burning desire, will translate what into riches or other material objects. We have the power. What it's really trying to say is that your thoughts can be manifested into things. And my pastor, my bishop, who's gone on to be with the Lord now, used to tell us all the time, watch your thoughts because they become words. And watch your words because they become actions. Watch your actions because they become habits. And watch your habits because they become character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. Wow. Now that's a lot, right? So the book tells us that your thoughts are powerful enough that it can become things. That with your steadfastness, that with your definiteness of mind, that with your purpose, with your persistence, with your desire, that it can translate into those thoughts. So what are your thoughts taking you to? And again, my pastor said, watch your thoughts because they become words. Most oftentimes, no, not most oftentimes, all the times, that whatever comes out of our mouth, it forms in our brain first. And I example would be, man, I don't want to go to the store and can't find a parking place. Or I just don't want to go to that because I can never find a parking place. And what happens? You said it out your mouth. It took root, it manifested, and it became something. And so then you go and you're driving around in circles. So I say all the time, man, I'm going to the store and this parking space is going to be waiting for me. And if the place is not already available, it's like somebody is backing out or pulling out of that space when I arrive to it. Why? Because I manifested it in what I believed. And you listen, I know people say you can't manifest stuff. You can. Go back to the Bible. That's my root. That's my flavor, right? The things that they said in the Bible, the things that they believed in the Bible came true. One of my favorite scriptures, I have many of them, but when I talk about Hezekiah and Isaiah, that it is God himself who tells Isaiah, go tell Hezekiah to get his house in order. He's about to die. Isaiah does exactly what God tells him. He's a prophet. He goes deliver that word. And Hezekiah got the word from Isaiah, but he didn't say anything to Isaiah. He begins to pray. He begins to formulate his thoughts. He began to talk to God from those thoughts and say, who's going to serve you? That if you take me now, who's going to serve you? I'm not ready. And by the time the Bible records the story, that by the time Isaiah gets back to God, God says, turn around, tell him I heard his prayers. What? I heard his thoughts. I heard what he said to me from those thoughts, and I'm going to answer it. I am manifesting for him 15 more years that he will live. So in this book, I'm not going to tell you about the whole book. You're going to have to go get it for yourself. Again, if you're just coming in, welcome to the Exchange Show. I am not the host. Berthanna Oxendine is the host of the show. I am the executive producer and standing in for her today. And we're talking about one of my favorite books, and it is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You can find the book on Amazon. It is sold over 15 million copies. So they don't need our show to publicize it. It is just one of my favorite books. And because of that, I thought it would still bring value to our audience today. So if you have not read it yet, then as a coach, I would advise you to go grab it and put it in your library. Every coach that I've ever had, from Mr. Les Brown to Myron Golden and many more have said this is a book you need to read. And I always say success leaves clues, right? If these people, the book talks about 500 some successful people who tell the author of their journey, right? And so when you can glean from these people who've already gone before you in different areas of life, perhaps there's something that you can glean from them. So that's what we're talking about today. I'm not the host, I'm the executive producer, just standing in talking about my favorite book, Think and Grow Rich. And you can find that on Amazon. So one of the things in the book, it talks about opportunity and how this young man tells the story about this opportunity that he wanted. And he was determined that he was going to make this opportunity happen. And that even though he knew he didn't have the power to change the other person, he did have the power to change him. And so he decided that I'm going to make myself ready. I'm going to make the decision to be determined. And not only am I going to be determined that this door is going to open for me, that when it opens, I'm going to be ready. Mr. Les Brown, who is one of my coaches, says all the time is that you should be ready for an opportunity, even if the opportunity never presents itself, rather than the opportunity presenting itself and you not be ready. So the message is clear from this young man is that when this opportunity comes, I am going to be ready. So I'm not telling you names of people in the story. I'm not telling you where it's at in the book. If you want to know the story, then I suggest you go grab it and make it a part of your library. But he does that. He remains faithful to his mission that whenever this door opens, he's going to be ready. And in the book, he tells the story that the opportunity does present itself, but it looks nothing like what he expects it to look like. And the trick of sometimes is that we quit too soon, is that we step off too soon, and this opportunity presented itself, not looking how the man thought it would come to him, but in fact, he seized the moment. That sometimes opportunity will come looked at disguised as misfortune or disguised as temporary defeat. And in the book, they said that that's where most people fail, is that they give up most oftentimes one step too soon, right? That they give up and opportunity is right on the other side of what looks like controversy. That opportunity is right on the other side of what looks like it is defeat, but really the blessing is on the other side of that. There was a lady who I heard a message from the Bahamas. I have never forgotten it. It was years ago, and she called our church name at the time, and she said, "The Lord is taking you the long way around. God is taking you the long way around." So don't get distracted by you haven't arrived to what looks like the goal. You haven't arrived to what looks like the purpose. Sometimes God is taking you the long way around. Why? Because he's not giving you the conversation that there are roadblocks on this easier route or what looks like the quickest avenue, that there's going to be roadblocks. Sometimes there's going to be destruction. But on this long road around, sometimes God is using that long way as your protection. So even though this opportunity that this young man was waiting for, determined that he wouldn't move out of position, initially seemed like defeat, right, or temporary failure, it was in fact the opportunity that he had been waiting for, and he was able to walk therein. You have to get the book to really see the story of what he received. And then there's there's a section in the book that talks about 3 feet of gold, right? 3 feet of gold. And it's really talking about mining. for gold in the earth, right? But the lesson is not about mining at all. The lesson is about what's the goal that God has purposed for your life? What's the thing that He sent you here to do? What's the thing that He sent you here to say, my legacy stamp is going to be on this? Maybe that's your 3 feet of gold. And so in the story, it talks about this man. His profession was a junk man, that most of us would look at him by trade and say, he doesn't measure up with the Bill Gates of the world, or he doesn't measure up with the Myron Goldens of the world, or he doesn't measure up with the TD Jakes of the world, whatever it is, because we like to measure people based on somebody else's journey, right? But that wasn't his journey. And his journey was my 3 feet of gold, mining for gold. He was smart enough to say, successfully clues, there's more millions. The book directly says this. There is more millions of dollars that come from the brains of other people than you would ever be able to grasp from the earth. Good God, that was powerful. There are millions of dollars laying in somebody else's brain. Wow. That even sometimes we take for granted that they don't have it, that I have to get it from this source all the time. It is one step away from defeat. So this man became very rich because he had the sense to pull the millions from others' brains, to capture their mindset, to capture their success that they had already walked through. And not only did he have those millions, but were also able to grasp millions from the earth. You can read the story. So I want to take a moment to say thank you. If you're joining the Exchange Show, I am not the host. My name is Juanita Corey Jackson. I am the executive producer of the show. Today, we're talking about one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich. I am a coach, and my coach, several of them, has said this is a book that you need to have. I have read it multiple times, and it took me multiple times to read it, to get the meaning, get the purpose, get the intention from the book. And now it is one of my go-tos. Anytime that I get to a low place outside of the Bible, I come back to this book. I love the book of Genesis in the Bible because it's a book of beginnings. And I think as we grow, you have to grow and change at the same time. And this book gives you the mindset to change and to think differently. All right. So you can purchase this book on Amazon. They've sold 15 million copies. They don't need my endorsement for you to purchase it. But I believe for our audience, if you don't have it already, it will bring you value. That's why I'm talking about it today. So anyway, you can find it on Amazon. And again, I am the executive producer, and Berthanna Oxendine, who is your host of the Exchange Show, will be back with you on next week. In the book, it goes on to tell you that the author talked to over 500 successful people. And out of those 500 interviews, every one of them said in some version of the same story is that right at the moment of temporary defeat, or what appeared to be temporary defeat, or what appeared to be failure, it was like one step away from them walking into whatever their success level was. And I'd like to say that defeat or temporary failure is not defeat or failure in any form if you fall forward. Meaning that there was a lesson that I needed to learn. I learned the lesson, and now I can pick it up and move forward into what God has called me to do. And whatever that lesson is also a lesson that I don't ever need to repeat again. if I really got the lesson. So it is now bridged a stepping stone for me that I can step to the next level and be the next version of myself that he's calling me to be. And I think we do ourselves a disservice. We bring ourselves to a place of temporary defeat when we don't meet the next version of ourselves. So when I'm always trying to revert to the older version of me or the version that's comfortable for me, I do myself a disservice by not meeting the next version of myself. And sometimes that place seems like defeat. Sometimes that place seems like a temporary disappointment or perhaps failure. But perhaps you're also right on the bridge, right on the brink of the next great thing for your life. I'm reminded of the children of Israel who have been enslaved for a long period of time, for about 400 years. And they cry out to God, right? And God hears them. And then he sends Moses, of course, to deliver them from Egypt. And you can find that story in the book of Exodus. And I always like to say that when you read the book of Exodus, it means exit. So God is always trying to exit you from something to something. And he had placed them on what should have been an 11-day journey, but it took them 40 years. Why? Because they couldn't see the blessing right in front of them, for seeing the blessing or for seeing what they thought was defeat all around them. They said, our life would have been better had we just stayed in Egypt. Yet God is raining down manna from heaven. So listen, as we get ready to wrap up this show today, again, we're talking about Think and Grow Rich. It is one of my favorite books by Napoleon Hill. You can grab that on Amazon. If you're just joining the show, then of course I want to say thank you for joining us today. And we appreciate you. Remember to like and share. Your host, Elder Berthanna Oxendine, will be back with you next week. And so as I wrap up this story, what's your wilderness? What's your place of defeat? What's your place that seems like failure, that you keep sizing yourself up and say, I should have been here by now? The question that I would ask you is, what blueprint are you watching? Because Jeremiah 29:11 says, God has plans for me. And those plans is to prosper me and not to harm me. And it is his desire that I be successful in everything. And I'm paraphrasing, but you read that verse, that he wants me to be successful in every area of my life. So my question would be, who are you measuring yourself by? And what measuring yard or measuring stick or measuring component has given you that philosophy or that language to say, I should be here by now, when truly only God knows where you should be? So my recommendation, grab this book. It will bless you. The Bible is always my go-to, but this is a great book. Mindset to think differently. If I'm on this road, God, what is it today that I'm supposed to do while I'm on it? And make me ready for the next road that you're taking me to. Because the one thing that Jeremiah 29:11 says is he has plans for me. And my plan, that the plan that he has for me tomorrow might not look like the plan that I'm in today, but position me, give me the capacity, give me the ability to stretch so that I don't miss the plans that you have tomorrow, and that I don't try to stay stuck, or that I don't try to mine in a field that was never intended for me, but that I'm always in the field that God has for me. This is the last thing. I was in a training today. It was fabulous. And the professor, I will call him, said that the anointing is on the man. The anointing is not on the land. Wow. So since the anointing is on me, then the land that you're about to have me step on, because he says, wherever you place your feet, good God, I will cause the land to be ready for you to possess it. So, Lord, strengthen this anointing in me. Make it afresh in me. So when I step on the next land that's included in your plans, that the land understands that it has to come to me because I've been anointed to possess it. Listen, I'm Juanita Corey Jackson. I am standing in for your host today, Berthanna Oxendine, and I invite you to join her next week on another episode of The Exchange Show. Until then, listen, I love you with the love of Jesus. There is absolutely nothing you can do about that, so be blessed till the next time of The Exchange Show. Have a great
Faith and inspiration are treasures to behold. Through words and wisdom, our spirits grow. Join us on this journey on the Exchange Show. Hope in the whispers, guidance in the prose, faith in the stories where the heart knows. A tapestry of voices woven with care. In every episode it is a blessing to share. Welcome to the exchange where stories unfold. Faith and inspiration.